All right, welcome everybody. I am holding this goofy little microphone because we do have families that live stream in. So even though it's in a small setting like this, this just helps them to be able to hear a little bit better. So welcome. So glad that you're here. Happy to see everybody tonight. Thanks for braving the rain. I wanted to get a couple of announcements out before we get going. First of all, hopefully you met Madeline in the back. And Madeline this is her first day with Bridge of Life. So she is our new program specialist. So you'll be seeing a lot of her lately. She is actually, so I know some of you are like, what's happening to Casey? Nothing. Casey's still with us. As you know, she has been operating as our program specialist for the last several years. And Casey is going to transition into a new role called Family and Volunteer Support Specialist. So she's going to be able to give some extra love and care to our families and our volunteers in ways that fall outside of traditional Bridge Life programming. And so Madeline will take over a lot of the program responsibility from Casey. You'll continue to see both of them at the gathering and Parents' Night Out. And you may be hearing from Casey a little bit more as far as flexible ways that she might be able to support your family. I wanted to let you know, so around 6:30 tonight, you'll get an email in your inbox that has a ton of different announcements. We've got nonviolent crisis intervention coming up. We've got a pickleball tournament. We've got a superhero 5K. We do trauma-informed training for businesses and nonprofits. We have one of those coming up in September. So there's lots of different ways that people can get engaged and part of what we're doing. And so we want to draw your attention to that. But we also want to spend a few minutes before we get into our main presentation hearing from some community providers. So I'm happy to first introduce Lydia with Samaritan Counseling. And Lydia, we're happy that you're here. We're excited to hear you share a little bit about what you're doing at Samaritan and what your capacity is to see some of our families.
Yeah. Hi, guys. It feels funny being on a mic. It's really just like you guys. But I work at Samaritan Counseling. I've worked there for the past 4 years as the office manager, but now I'm a therapist. So I'm starting full time. I've been seeing clients for about a year with my program, but now I have capacity to do full-time counseling. So I need a lot of clients and I have a lot of availability. So I love kids, teens, adults. I work with kids aged 2 to 18 and adult women primarily. We have a lot of grant funding available for anything at Samaritan. So other points, I work with Ross Thompson. Do any of you guys know Mr. Ross? Mr. Ross is a big shot at Bridge Life. He's my supervisor, so he's getting me connected into all these circles, and he's really cool. A lot of kids, Mr. Ross, they love him. But I've worked with kids for about 15 years, but I also have 2 adopted siblings in my family, so I've walked with them through. They were internationally adopted at age 1, and I was like 7, 8. So I've seen them through, and now they're 18, and challenges continue. So I've learned a lot with that, and have been involved in a lot of circles like this, supporting foster parents, adoptive parents. That specialized challenge, it is a challenge, so I want to be able to offer support. So you can always call the office. Our number, I have little cards up there that has my name, and then I have some ones with our office number, and you can just call and say you're ready to get set up with Lydia, and they'll take care of everything. But do you guys have any questions? Obviously, all trauma informed. All my work with kids is centered around play therapy. Teens is more whatever they need to connect. And then adults, it's more talk therapy. But yeah, I do a lot of art and dance stuff. I'm excited you guys are going to dance tonight. I'm a dancer, and I think that's so fun. That's cool. I didn't know that was happening. So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to start connecting to everybody here.
Thank you so much. And you're going to hang around for the rest of the night. So if you guys have any questions or want to connect with her after, feel free to do so. All right, so next we have Dynasty Dance coming up, and so I'm excited that it's Rachel and TJ, right, who are going to share a little bit about, you're like, Jody, why is a dance program at the gathering? And so I'm going to let you share. I'm excited to hear what you share, and then if you cover all of it, I won't have to say anything, but if, yeah, it's an interesting perspective, and it's an interesting project, and I'm excited to have you here to talk a little bit more about what we're hoping to accomplish.
Me and the mic, we're a little weird, sorry. I'm Rachel Uniberg, and I'm happy to be here with my colleague TJ Kyle from Dynasty Dance Clubs. We do a lot of wonderful activities in the community for children of all ages and abilities. And so we're kind of really excited to be bridging this new collaborative effort together to offer community, offer some support at the same time as children getting the chance to dance, have fun. Yes, just a little bit of that. Yes, make friends. Like that's our whole compass around group classes at our studio is to help them engage with others and have a good time together. During our upcoming group classes for the kiddos with Bridge of Life, we're going to offer. You guys are offering like a support network grouping time frame at the same time that they'll be dancing. So it will be a great opportunity for, I think, everybody to align together and build community and connection. Did that kind of cover? Great job. Awesome. We do have some. Oh, you have a question? Oh, sorry. We do have some demonstrations tonight, so we're really excited to be able to show you what some of our students have been learning. We absolutely adore Charisma and Kinsley, and definitely want to show you, I know, all the tricks in the trade of what they've been doing. So without further ado, if it's okay, yes? Yeah, the Bluetooth? Oh, okay. Sure. Big space. We don't need to. We don't need to like blast you guys completely out of the room. That's probably a smart idea.
For sure.
So we'll leave the sign-up form at the front. So on your way out, if you would like to just put your name and number or email address so we can send you the updates on the class.
So if you're just tuning in with us virtually, Dynasty Dance has been here. They've been doing some demos. We do have a class. There's a partnership with Bridge of Life, Dynasty Dance, Building Beyond Basics, such as a pediatric OT in our community. Because in addition to the dance part, each class will be supported by an OT. And then there will be the parent support group that's happening simultaneously to that. So the community conversations that we've been having are that sometimes our kiddos can have a hard time, and we know that therapy might benefit them, and if they're willing to go, that's fantastic. But what if they're not? What are some extracurricular options that we can extend to them with people in our community who are caring, who are open to trauma responsive types of principles and conversations, and who have kind of an it factor already of what it means to connect with kids? So Melissa, can I tell the story that you shared with me just about the time change? So an example would be, Melissa was sharing with me, we were at a conference together last week, and we knew this was coming up, and she said there was a time where the time of the class needed to change, and it was like a 15-minute change. It wasn't anything major, but the studio called or texted ahead to say, hey, we know that sometimes kids can have a hard time with transitions or unexpected changes, and so we wanted to go ahead and let you know ahead of time that the time is changing by 15 minutes so you can prep your kids. And so just knowing that and being willing to do that, and so that's the kind of care that you've received there. Anything that you would add to that? Would you be willing to speak into this?
Jump right in. Both girls do lessons with TJ as an instructor, but really a huge focus of what Dynasty does, especially for our adopted kiddos, is there's a huge social piece. So it's very often social dancing where they have to switch with different partners. They have to work on being in someone's space. And I've seen countless times where either a child is struggling with that or a young adult is just needing a minute, and there's just such an understanding of we all might need a minute, and there's never this, no, stay where you are. It's a learn how you learn, grow how you grow, just very understanding. And there's always extra adults and extra instructors in the classes. So I know in one of the groups, they kind of split them into different levels and abilities. So you have students paired with other students who are maybe at their level, or you might have extra instructors in a group with kids needing more support, or maybe that one-on-one instructor with them. So it's just been fabulous to watch both girls, but specifically my oldest, kind of grow through the program and see the amount of support and just social interaction as well, in a really safe, fun, motivating space.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you guys again. And so what they're doing now is heading over to the kid area, and they're going to do some fun dance activities with the kids over there just to get them, excited and give them something structured to do tonight while we move into the next part of what we're doing. So I am happy to welcome my friend Danny Rimchuk to come and share for us for the remainder of the evening. You probably all know him. If you know him, you love him. He's got a great perspective and a lot of really great resources, and wears a lot of different hats in the community. So I'm going to go ahead and have you come on up. You can sit, you can stand, we can bring a table over, whatever, however you're comfortable. But if you would just put this on your shirt.
Put that on my shirt. I promise. I promise. Yes, I'm on it. All right. Is that good? All right. We're going to sit and have a casual conversation since it's... So thanks, guys, for being here tonight. My name is Danny Remchuk. I am with a lot of places. In my job, I'm with Selfless Love Foundation, working statewide around adoption and foster care. In my spare time, I am with Manatee FAPA, which is the Foster and Adoptive Parent Association. I'll explain a little bit about that in just a minute and what that means. I'm happy to have been part of Bridge of Life since its founding, when it was a small group at Bayside with 3 families in it. Myself and my wife and 2 other families that I've adopted. I am an adoptive parent. My son is adopted from Uganda when he was 16 months old. He's now almost 16 years old. And I was adopted myself through foster care. My late wife was adopted through medical foster care. So it's kind of been a permeating experience. But what I wanted to do this evening is to talk a little bit about the supports that are around, and I'm going to aim it at both foster and adoptive supports because there are plenty for both. I'm going to tell you a little bit about FAPA, the Foster and Adoptive Parent Association. Florida FAPA is the statewide umbrella in which the organization exists, and then there are local chapters, kind of like the United Way. There's a national organization, and then there's like countywide chapters and so on. And you'll see that there are chapters in every circuit in Florida, right there. As you know, Florida is divided into 20 judicial circuits, which is how they run child welfare. Each of those has a community-based care agency, and it goes on from there. But every circuit has a FAPA, has a organization of volunteers who are working to come alongside foster and adoptive parents under the umbrella of the state organization, of the State Foster and Adoptive Parent Association. I am on the board of the Manatee FAPA, which is for Circuit 12. Manatee is kind of deceiving of a name. We work with Manatee, Sarasota, and DeSoto counties. And so we do this, and I work with the president, Michelle Canizzo. We are also both on the board of the state FAPA as well. So we're kind of working both in the local side of things as well as statewide. So the Manatee Foster and Adoptive Parent Association serves foster and adoptive parents in Manatee, Sarasota, and DeSoto counties. We have a lot of different availability for what we provide for our families. FAPA is a membership-based organization. It's a $30 annual membership fee. FAPA is open to anybody who is working with children that either are or were in the child welfare system, whether that's through foster care, adoption, permanent guardianship, relative caregivers, non-relative caregivers, all of the above. We work with those families. We do have a $30 annual membership fee, but with that fee, you get a bunch of different things. We have events that are big for us every year. We have a back-to-school event where kids get, is that my phone? Yep. Where kids get school supplies and they get a chance to have just a fun time together, gathering the school supplies, getting to know other community resources. We have a Halloween costume closet event, which is coming up, as that's not that far away, where kids get to come pick out a Halloween costume. We have a Breakfast with Santa event. That's one of our biggest events every year, and the name is pretty much what it is. And it's a chance to get a bunch of great things for Christmas, have breakfast with Santa. It's a big event. We also do training every month, and we give 2 hours of training. So if any of you who are licensed families who are trying to get your hours for the year, we offer 2 hours of training every month. We do that on Zoom. We do it on the second Thursday of every month. And then our phone numbers are there. I have information at the sign-in. I have cards there, my own card, and then FAPA's card, and brochures there about kind of what we do. And moving farther into that, what I did definitely want to talk about is the Foster Allegation Support Team, which is known as FAST. This is available to you whether or not you are a member of a FAPA. But this is a team that only exists to work with caregivers who have had an allegation raised against them. Whether they be foster parents, whether they be adoptive parents, whether they be relative caregivers or non-relative or guardians or whatever it might be. We have a team to provide support, to help caregivers understand what the process looks like when that happens. Because we know that we don't live in a perfect world. We know that these things do happen. We know that allegations get made. So we have a team that's ready to stand by you and support you if that should happen. You can go on, Ray. The information here talks about it. If you need to get a hold of the FAST team, it's 1-800-FAST-119 is the number you call. If you ever have an allegation made against you for any reason, that is the number to get the support team involved. Or you can send an email to floridaFAPA.org, and we'll answer either way. And that's just a way to, like I said, to get some help. We give you support. We can help you keep a journal of everything that's happening and all the stuff that's going on, kind of so you have kind of the record of what's happening. We'll be a partner. We will help you request assistance from the CBC, from your CBC or from DCF as to explaining to the children what's going on, the children in your home that may not be involved with an allegation but still want to know why all these people are coming in and out of the house, which can be very traumatic for them. So we definitely want to be able to come alongside of you and help you if that unfortunate situation should ever happen. Again, open to anybody. You do not have to be a FAPA member to take advantage of this resource.
I'm curious who knew about that program.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that until I got your slideshow.
Yeah.
I think is why this kind of stuff is so great.
Yes.
You know, because I've been in the space for a really
Yes.
long time and
Yeah.
no idea.
I didn't know about it until I joined FAPA, and so I was. But yeah, so it's definitely, I would definitely call it one of the most underutilized resources that is out there because nobody knows about it. And that's what I'm here to do, is to try to make sure that people know about it. Okay, we can go on, Ray. I did want to put this on. I know the dates are going to be different next year, but I wanted you to know about the FAPA conference that happens every year. It is in June. Every year it is a 3-day conference. By the way, it's also not only a conference for adults, it's a conference for children as well. We have a program called Next Gen, which comes and works with kids the whole time that the parents are attending this conference. There's places to hear from specialists around the field in foster care and adoption. We usually have representatives from DCF there. We have representatives from different organizations who are present to do this, and it's a nice getaway. It's a weekend in Orlando. Have a good time. Get to know other people so you don't feel alone in this space, which is so important. Get a chance to be in person, all the stuff that comes with a conference. It's a very reasonably priced conference, and there are usually scholarships available at the CBC level. So it's definitely possible to get help attending that if needed. Like I said, there is a kids program that runs alongside of that, so while the adults are having their conference time, the kids are having time doing all kinds of leadership skills trainings, team building activities, arts and crafts, activities, watching movies, going to the pool, you name it. And so it's a great chance to be, with like-minded people and with people who are probably having the same issues, concerns, frustrations, joys that you're having. In a weekend getaway that's in a much more casual setting and it doesn't feel quite so formal. It is, well, I know there's 7 and 8-year-olds that are going, and I know my son did it, who's 16. So, I think it's pretty open. I think it's at least like 5 to 18, something like that. Yeah. So anyway, the information will be on the Florida FAPA website, floridafapa.org. Probably after the new year, you'll see for the next year. This will be the first time in a while that the conference will not be the weekend of Father's Day. It will be the weekend after Father's Day. But it'll be at it takes place at the DoubleTree next to SeaWorld in Orlando. So it's just a great little way to get away for a weekend. There's always community providers there from all over the state. Circuit 12 usually has a very big representation there because we also, not to brag, but I like to brag, we have some of the best resources and helps that are available out there statewide. I know that when I'm working with families in my regular job and I am talking to families who are adopting that live in Pensacola or live in Jacksonville or live in West Palm or whatever, the constant thing is that there's, what do I have to do this? What do I have? And I keep thinking to myself, like, gosh, we have this and we have this, but I know you guys don't. And so it's definitely, we are very blessed in Circuit 12 to have the resources that we have available to us. I'm going to start with adoption information. I know we have some adoptive parents in the room. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the adoptive information, make sure that you are getting this information. I'm not going to go into it unless you want me to. If you have any questions, by the way, if you have any questions, stop me at any point in time. I really want this to be interactive. I don't want to be lecturing. I don't want to be doing. I taught high school for 18 years. I don't want to do that again. So I want to have an interactive period where if you have questions or concerns or anything, you can let me know. I am going to talk about the big 5 in adoption benefits in the state of Florida. The first one being your monthly adoption subsidy, which is negotiated with your adoption specialist and your adoption team at the community-based care level. There's usually a starting point, then the number can go up and it can go higher depending on the needs of the child and the ongoing needs of the child and so on. I'm going to just real quick put in a little thing for what? The needs of the child? Yeah, I know. I know. I am going to put in a big plug for COLA increases because I know that adoptive parents don't always ask for these. Because I know that I have families whose adoptions I did 10 years ago that are still getting $348. And they should be getting almost $700 now. So there is, that's because they didn't know. It's still a problem because they don't tell you. So
used to say that you had to have like a doctor's note or whatever.
Right.
Then it switched. You can just call.
Yeah, now it has to still be written. It has to be an email or something, but it is just a cost of living increase. You're not asking for an enhanced subsidy. You're getting a cost of living increase. You do not. Correct. As of now, but we are working on changing that in the next legislative session if we can try to lobby enough lawmakers about that. Correct. That's right. Yes. But I know that both my organization at Selfless Love and Florida FAPA is working, trying to get into legislators' offices this winter to see if there can be some legislation around that. Because even with an enhanced subsidy, if you get $1,000 a month for your child, $1,000 a month in 2014 is not the same as $1,000 a month in 2025. So it's, there should be some cost of living kind of adjustments in there as well.
I found out about it because somebody I know out of county, their whatever, CDC or whatever, let them know.
Yeah.
And I called and told somebody and they said they knew, but they were told they weren't allowed to tell anyone.
Yeah, that's
It's a freaking secret.
yeah. That's why
And
that's
that was not good.
yeah. That and
They did a slow rollout in C12, I think because it was manual, it was a manual entry adjustment.
Yeah.
So there was a systematic way that they were eventually increasing everybody's, but if you found out about it before they got to your family,
Yeah.
then you got moved up on
Right.
the list. Yeah.
right. But even today, you still have to ask for it every year. You have to do it in writing, whether that's an email or whatever. It usually comes out mid-February. If you follow Florida FAPA on Facebook or Manatee FAPA, we publish the memo as soon as it's released, so you can see what the amounts are and you can see what the new cost of living adjustment
That's
is.
what I noticed this year. It was advertised. Before this, it was not.
Yeah.
But this year, I noticed all these different ones were
Yeah.
saying.
We've been advertising it on Facebook for about 5 or 6 years, but it depends on who's following Florida FAPA, and who's getting that algorithm in their Facebook. It's completely unfortunately, it's not the most publicly available information, and it should be. The other thing that we're pushing for is to try to do a work group to make those cost of living adjustments automatic. Without having to be requested, much like they do for foster parents. So we're kind of in the very beginning stages of that and seeing what that looks like, because there's a lot to untangle there. There are also age level increases, so you have to remember that as well. Not just cost of living increases, but age level increases. So there's an increase, there's a 0 to 5 rate, there's a rate up to age 12, and then there's a rate for 13 to 17. You need to write. You don't need to call. You need to write. If you call, you're not going to get anything. Yeah, you need to write to Linda. Correct. No. No. Yes. The question was if you have an enhanced subsidy, is there an age level increase, and there is not. If you have an enhanced subsidy, there are no increases unless you are specifically requesting an increase for a specific reason that you do in writing that gets sent to DCF for approval. But if you look at the memo, when the memo comes out, the memo will always, if you, Ray, I think you can go 1 or 2 slides ahead for a second. Go ahead, keep going. Keep going. Keep going, sorry. Right there. As you see, there's a 0 to 5 rate, a 6 to 12 rate, and a 13 to 21 rate. The 13 to 21 doesn't really apply to anybody here unless you adopted your child after the age of 14. Like for instance, the 0 to 5 is 586 and change, the 6 to 12 is 601, and the 13 to 21 is 704. Which is, if you're receiving the standard adoption subsidy, that amount is what you should be getting right now. And if you are not, you need to send an email and ask for that cost of living increase. Well, it's still the cost of living increase, but it's just that it's tiered by age. That's all. So, because there's always that thing that happens, right? If your 5-year-old turns 6, you're in a new bracket there. You're in a new, you're in a new rate plus the cost of living to try to get all of that put together. If you don't know the person to speak to, it's Linda Jacobson at the Safe Children Coalition. L. Jacobson, S-E-N, is her last name, at sccfl.org. But again, I'm going to emphasize you have to do it in writing, and it's not retroactive. So if you ask for it today, it's going to start today. It is not going to start in February when the memo comes out. When the memo comes out in February, it is not going to be retroactive January 1st. It's going to be retroactive to whatever date the DCF decides to publish the memo. And it's for you, it's going to start when you ask for it. Then the other parts of the, of course, no. Depends on when you adopt. If you adopt a child after the age of 14 and over, then they can get it until they're 21. If they're under the age of 14, they get it until they're 18.
Okay, even if they're unenhanced and there's like
Correct.
need for, okay.
Correct.
What?
Yep.
I didn't hear what.
The question was, is your if I heard it right, your question was about the, remind me again what your question was? The age of subsidy when it expires. If you adopt your child under the age of 14, it expires when they turn 18. If you adopt them from age 14 on, they can have it until they're 21. The same applies to their Medicaid. You have the Medicaid until they're 18, or if they're adopted as a teenager, until. Not from adoption, they don't. Yeah. They've gotten adoption Medicaid, or they've gotten straight Medicaid?
No, they have adoption Medicaid, and no, that's CMS regular, and Linda said it was 18, but they passed 18 and they still have it.
Yeah, that is probably true because they haven't been taken off the rolls yet. The problem with that is there's going to come a time that they can just automatically be right off the thing and not have their Medicaid, because they are systematic. I'm promising you, having talked to Sunshine Health, they are systematically going through and removing people off the rolls who are over the age of 18 and getting adoption subsidy or adoption Medicaid when they're not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be over 18 unless you adopt a 14-year-old or above and get it till 21. So if they are getting it, I think it's fantastic, but I just don't want them to be shocked when all of a sudden they go to the doctor and there's no coverage. Anyway, so that Medicaid is available. It comes through Sunshine Health or CMS depending on the needs of the child, but all of it's run by Sunshine Health anyway. The college tuition waiver is very important and a benefit that is, from what I have found out from the national research we've been doing at work, very unique to Florida. Other states have it, but they have a lot of restrictions on it. Florida does not. The college tuition waiver is there to be a waiver for college fees and tuition costs for any state-run college. Vocational tech programs count. Things like cosmetology and stuff like that, if they're run through a vocational school, count. And they can get as much education as they want until they are 28 years old. We've just had at the Save Children Coalition our first person graduate from getting a PhD with her tuition waiver. So, no.
That waiver covered all of that.
Covered all of it. Because she started school at 18, went to college, did her 4, did her master's, did her, because you got 10 years, so it's a good long time. But I've also had kids that have done, like I had a boy that was 18, went to the fire academy, got his EMT and everything, then went to school for another 4 years and got a bachelor's degree. So it's there. Now, I want to tell you what it is and what it isn't. It is a tuition and fee waiver. It is not the state sending a check to FSU to cover that tuition. It is FSU agreeing as a publicly funded state to follow this rule and accept this waiver and waive tuition and fees for children who have been in foster care or who were adopted from foster care. But it's not the state sending a check to FSU for, $8,000 a year to cover tuition. It's the college itself waiving the tuition and fees. It does not cover books. It does not cover room and board. It does not cover extra activity fees or things like that. It covers tuition and academic related fees. So that is very important. But it is also very important to take advantage of as much education as you possibly can, because you have a good solid 10 years to use it.
Do you have any experience with people who are running into the challenge that a college is not willing to accept that waiver?
No. Now, obviously, private colleges are not going to take it.
Yeah.
Now, some private colleges will knock a portion off of tuition because you were in the foster system or were adopted from foster care under some of their programs, but it's not, they won't waive the whole tuition. But for the public schools, the state schools, so anything that says state college, anything that says state university is doing it. Yeah. The adoption tax credit is definitely something that's out there for families who adopt and who are able to get their adoption expenses, things like that, taken off of their taxes for the 2025 tax year, which will be filed in 2026. $5,000 of the adoption tax credit is now refundable. That just got passed last month in Congress. So it's there. It's there to be used. I tell adoptive families, and I don't want to harp on all of this, but I tell adoptive families all the time, the year after you finalize your adoption, please, for everything that is great, have your taxes done by a professional that year. Like if there's 1 year to have a CPA do your taxes, it's the year after you finalize an adoption. Because there are so many things you can deduct that a professional would know, that a tax professional would know. And people think, well, I adopted from foster care, so I didn't have any expenses. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You fed and clothed a child for however many months before the adoption finalized. You took them to doctor's appointments. You did a lot. There are expenses involved. So it's something to keep in mind. And then post-adoption support. Every circuit in the state is required by law to have a post-adoption team. The SCC's post-adoption team is a 3-person team that is there to help if families have a need for anything in post-adoption. They can provide referrals. They can provide referrals for therapy services. They can provide referrals to other organizations to help with whatever it might be. Obviously, the point of the post-adoption team is to help families early in the stages of any kind of a crisis or anything like that. There are far too many kids that get returned to the state. The goal of having a post-adoption team in every circuit is so that that doesn't happen, so that people will get the idea that there is help available, and you don't have to wait until you're in that crisis, because usually by the time you get to that point, it's too late. You've probably already made up your mind at that point. So trying to get help early, trying to get help out there for you if it's needed. Like I said, they can provide referrals, they can provide assistance to other organizations, they can help you with therapy supports, they can connect you with Medicaid, and things like that, which I'm going to talk a little bit more in just a minute. Okay, Amazon Prime. If you are a foster or adoptive parent, make sure you are registering with Amazon Prime to get your Prime at 50% off. Why? Because your child has state insurance. So your child has Medicaid, and so you are therefore are allowed to get your Amazon Prime at 50% off. No, yeah. If you have 5 children, they will pay you every month to have Amazon Prime. So no, but you can get it for 50% off. Make sure you do that. There's steps to follow. You just looking under the section of Prime that says government assistance recipients, and then you can follow the directions there, and you can get it taken care of and approved for that. I urge you to take advantage of all of these resources for those of us who can't, because it doesn't apply to internationally adopted families. So please take advantage of this for those of us that can't do it. So anyway, make sure you get that. Yes. 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 Oh, no. The post-adoption support is for anybody. The state of Florida mandated that when they required each circuit to have post-adoption support, it was going to be for any adoptive family, period. And it was going to also be like, so you live in Sarasota, but you adopted your kids from Orlando, Sarasota is your team that does your post-adoption support. Does not have to be adopted through SCC. Nope. Yep. Correct. Yes. That child's going to come into care and is going to be another number in the system, unfortunately. But yes, they. Correct. Yes. Right. Yes. Yes. Yep. Just call SCC. 941-371-4799. Yeah, everybody usually has it programmed in their phone anyway, so just ask for the post-adoption team. You'll probably either talk to Anna or Amanda. Thank you. And both of them have a lot of experience in adoption, so because they both worked as adoption caseworkers before doing this. So anyway, it does help. They've helped me with my son, so it's definitely for any adoptive family. Museums for All is another thing that you can take advantage of, because if you have any type of government assistance, again including Medicaid, you can get free or reduced admissions to more than 1,000 museums throughout the United States by presenting your card and a photo ID. Go to the Museums for All website, just Google search that, and you'll be able to find some places you can go to. It does include the Ringling, it does include Bishop, which are some local options for that. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. If you happen to be a foster family that's also receiving WIC, you can just use your WIC card for that. So that's also a possibility. Step Up. Step Up for Students is the organization that provides money for students to go to private school or for homeschooling options. They have 2 different levels of funding. One level is for PEP, which is personalized education something. And that is where you can go to a private school, use your money at a private school, and it will take a chunk off of the tuition at the private school. There's also the Family Empowerment Scholarship, which is UA, Unique Abilities. That is for children that have a diagnosis of any kind. That can be used to do homeschooling, private school, both, none of the above. So there's lots of options. There's lots of things you can spend the money on. I have used Step Up with my son for kindergarten through 3rd grade when he went to private school. I am now starting to use it for high school as a homeschooler for the first time. So pray for me, because that's going to be an adventure. But I'm also not doing the homeschooling, so I pawned that off to a friend to do that. So I get to be the principal. So anyway, I'm not going to go crazy into the adoption process. I think most of you guys are familiar with that. But definitely wanted you to know about the benefits. Wanted you to know about those things that are available to you. This is I just wanted to put this out there. I know this is specific to Manatee County, but I wanted to make sure if you have a foster or adoptive child, make sure if they're a foster child, it is an automatic qualification for free breakfast and lunch. If they are an adopted child who is receiving Medicaid, that qualifies them for free breakfast and lunch. So make sure you are taking advantage of those programs, because even at, I think school lunch is like $4 now. That adds up. Like 22 bucks a week adds up. So if you can get it for free, get it for free. Or unless you're like my child who never eats the school lunch and wants all the Cheetos and everything else that they can buy for whatever amount of money. So I was like, why am I putting money on this account when you have these free lunches and everything? Anyway, so that's there. It is for any school district in the state. This is not, I have this in me for Manatee for when we do these talks locally, but it's available all over the state. The summer break spot is out there every summer. I know school just started, but keep this in mind for the summers. The way to get the information is always the same. It's always text food to 304-304, and you can find out where you can get free food for your kids during the summer. And it's school stuff. It's school breakfast, school lunches. Sometimes they do it at parks. Sometimes they do it at schools, and you just bring your kids there and they can eat for free. Therapy resources for foster and adoptive parents besides the wonderful people at Samaritan. Elite DNA is one. I put this screen was specific to places that accept Medicaid and that take Sunshine Health. I'm going to have another screen to talk about other providers as well. Elite DNA services all 3 counties. They have in-person options and online. They do psychiatric and therapy. You can choose either or both, and however you want to work it out. They also do a lot of appointments by virtual, which is nice, especially when you start getting into a routine with your medications and you just have to have those med management appointments. It's so nice to do those online to where you don't have to necessarily pick them up from school and go take them to this place and go do all the stuff that comes with it. I love Elite DNA. I use them for myself and I use them for my child. So it's definitely an organization I can get behind. Residing Hope is out there. You may have remembered it as called Circle of Friends Services, what it used to be called. Now it's called Residing Hope. Another therapy provider. They do accept Medicaid. They also have grants available like Samaritan to help in cases where they don't. Family Initiatives is another organization. I know a lot of places have worked with Family Initiatives. They do a lot of in-home resources, in-home parent coaching and things like that. They also do ABA therapy. There's a lot of different things that they offer around too. I am shocked at how much stuff is out there from when I started being an adoption case manager 11 years ago. And families would call me and I'd be like, oh no, I don't know where you can go. Like, I don't know what's out there. Mm-hmm. Yes. Isn't that great? How old is he? Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yeah. I totally understand that.
So we homeschooled 1 year, and I just about lost my mind. School.
And he's stable. That's amazing. That is so amazing.
He's doing great.
Excellent. Good.
RBTs.
That's fantastic.
I don't know a ton about ADA, but I know there can be some opinions, and so I will add that Family Initiative they're also TBRI practitioners.
Yes.
So I think it balances.
I agree. Yes. I fully agree. And then Parenting Matters, Chosen Families. I have that in there. I know it is a specific to Manatee County resource, but if you know any Manatee County post-adoption families, please make sure they take advantage of this. Parenting Matters and Chosen Families provides therapy and provides parent coaching with TBRI practitioners. They also have respite care, 12 hours a month of respite care for post-adoptive families, and they also have a school advocate who will go with you to IEP meetings and things like that to help you. I know it's just for Manatee County. They are trying desperately to get grants to expand the program into Sarasota. Yes. 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 No, change away. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And in that meeting, I'm in Charlotte County entity. So in the Charlotte County meeting, I
Yep.
was informed that because my child has a step-up scholarship and is going to a private school, he doesn't need to have an IEP meeting anymore, as long as he's not in public school.
Mm-hmm.
That just didn't
It's
sit
true.
well with me.
It's true.
Chewing that.
No, it's true. I know that when I finished Cameron's 8th grade IEP, at Macintosh, when he did his 8th grade IEP, I had asked that question because I was like, we're thinking about homeschooling next year. What do I need to do or whatever? And she said, and I found this out doing research on it too. I do have a presentation on IEPs and stuff, so if anybody ever wants one. But I found out that IEPs actually do not expire. There is reevaluation dates suggested on the IEPs every year, every 3 years, depending on the situation. But they don't have, you still have an IEP. If you have an IEP, you have an IEP, you always have an IEP. So that's always there. You don't have to do it. You absolutely have the right to request it. Yes. You don't have to, but you have the right to request it. And you may have to fight that a little bit. And you may have to go to the County Board of Education, you may have to go to the State Board of Education. Correct. Yes.
Evaluation piece they're going to do no matter what.
Right.
They have to.
Right.
So if you ask
Right.
for evaluation,
They're going to give
they
you an
have to-
evaluation.
They have to honor your request.
Yeah.
to establish an IEP.
Correct. Yeah. If you already have an IEP established, you're good. If you want to do reevaluations, you can do that.
The only problem with an IEP is if you are on step up
Mm-hmm.
and your matrix changes, you could lose funding.
You could. Yeah.
So
If
you
you,
like where you're at funding wise,
yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
I would not push that. at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. I mean it's really for those higher tiered matrix kids. That's who we're talking about. The vast majority of step up people are on that tier 1, tier 2 level. That's going to stay the same no matter what. But for the kids who are at that higher level, if you want that higher level of funding, I would say follow that same advice and just leave your IEP in place.
You got a kiddo in pre-K who has an IEP, is not using the IEP because, there's a contract. Not that I'm bitter about it, it's fine. If that kiddo is not gonna have their IEP updated, it's fine. They got FBSUA. When they get to kindergarten, what happens to them? Are they going to public school? Yeah. They'll have to write an IEP.
Yeah.
So the parent would have to request, well, they need to let them know, they need to register the kid for school. Yep, and then they have to write an IEP. It's supposed to be in place before the first day of school.
Public school.
Okay, but then they won't have the FESUA.
Correct.
But yes, but kind of in that preparation
Yes.
of, yes,
Yeah.
we know you're leaving pre-K, you're going to K to public school.
Correct.
No one's looked at this for a year and a half. We
Yep.
really want to help you get that updated.
Yes. And everybody, the thing about the education system is very much like the child welfare system. Everybody in the education system has a boss. So you go step by step up the ladder until you get to the person who gives you the answer that you so deserve. And sometimes,
You don't want to stay at the bottom level. Sometimes you go up there and they really don't want to.
yeah, I mean, it's possible, it's possible, but sometimes you can just call and say, do you want the federal funding for my kid or not? I mean, sometimes you have to be like that. So it's, I know Macintosh Middle really did not like me for 3 years, so it's, but they got over it and they educated my son in the way that he was supposed to be educated. So it was, these are some other resources who are around, both nationally and locally, that are kind of private providers that Jody provided to me, that we've both looked at their stuff and they're great. Jody's used many of these providers before. They are good resources to have if you want to have them in your arsenal. And I don't think you can have enough resources in your arsenal to have other people around.
Those are all TBRI practitioners. Timber, Resound, they both worked for Chosen previously, so their model looks a lot like Chosen's model, where they can do the parent coaching and the telehealth. Dr. Jana Hunsley has spoken at the gathering before. She's the one who has the lived adoption experience she was a sibling in the home when her parents initiated several international adoptions. And so she's done a lot of really great work around the siblings who are already in the home and what their experience is when new children move into the home. So she's been amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Katrina is horrible.
Yes. Yeah. Katrina's been in adoptions and stuff for 25,000 years. She's been doing it for a very long time. She was my supervisor for many years, as well. Jockey Being Family is a phenomenal resource for foster and adoptive families, that has a lot of different options available, like training wise and stuff. We can go on to the next one. This is one of their trainings that they have available. They have multiple ones available on it's called Jockey Being Families. You can look it up on their website. They are self-paced training. They're not licensing trainings like for training hours, but they're great to get some information about something you may be going through. If you click on the enroll using the Jockey Being Family coupon, they are free. So they are available to you, a self-paced thing to get some extra resources. Yes, yes. Jockey is a very big supporter. Yeah, Jockey is a very big supporter of foster care and adoption. That's exactly right. This is another training on prenatal alcohol and drug exposure. And again, self-paced. The info's out there. It's not a formal training, but it's there to give you the info. And by the way, it's free, so why not? Florida School Readiness, Florida Early Learning stuff. This is to get your VPK stuff taken care of, get your VPK certificate so that you can enroll in a VPK. This also handles your ELC stuff if you're a foster family that is receiving ELC benefits. But this is kind of the stuff that they do. VPK is usually their biggest program to give you those certificates so that you can start the VPK process and go from there. Sunshine Health. I'm going to spend some time on Sunshine Health because a lot of people don't realize the benefits that are available from Sunshine Health, and they do not take advantage of them. Every single adopted child in the state of Florida who was adopted through foster care has an adoption health caseworker with Sunshine Health. And they are available to you. You can email promotingadoptionsuccess@sunshinehealth.com and find out who your person is, or you can take my card and call me and I will find out who your person is. But everybody has a person. They can handle so much stuff. They can help you process grants that are available to you. They can help you get the vouchers you need, like for the free swimming lessons. They can help you order your over-the-counter stuff that you get for free every year. By the way, that is now $50 a month, unless you have CMS. Did it go to 25? Is it still 25 for CMS? Yeah. That would make sense. Especially when it's run by the same company. That's what I don't understand. It's all the same, like. Okay, good. Anyway, that they are people, and by the way, the adoption advocates for the people that are post-adoption are local for the most part. They're usually, at the very least, they're regional, but if not, they're local. So they have access to local resources as well. People who take Sunshine, people who can give you advice on finding a provider for a certain whatever it might be.
And I will say we found out ours was an adoptive parent.
Mm-hmm.
So she also got it.
Yes.
It was easier to talk.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The Hope Florida Hope line is out there, 1-850-300-HOPE. Hope Florida uses Hope Navigators. That's a whole new thing, run by Casey DeSantis. It's a big. It is a great program. It is also highly controversial. So it depends on what side you want to look at. Yes. But it's out there. The phone number is there if there's assistance that they can provide. Sunshine Health has a community resource database as well that you can get information on extra community helps. We can keep going there. Keep going. Keep going. One more. Okay. Some of the benefits for people who have Sunshine Health. And again, these benefits are there for foster and adoptive families. Don't forget that. You may have to go through your case manager and be like, go get these benefits for me for foster children, but they are available. $50 over-the-counter benefit. The Healthy Rewards program is the one nobody ever really takes advantage of. So Sunshine Health, when you get a well child visit, will send you a debit card with money on it that you can use for a lot of different things. And sometimes people get that debit card after one of these visits and find out they've got like 5 visits worth of money on them. And all of a sudden there's like $400 on this debit card that we didn't know about. You can get them for well child visits, you can get them for vaccines, and you can get them for dental visits. So that might have changed because I'm going by what was happening in June. So a lot of stuff changed July 1st, so it's possible. Really? I got dental when Cameron had it, but yeah. I mean, I got money on the card for the dental visit. The care grant is a big one that people don't always take advantage of. $150 a year for services like school fees, athletic equipment, gym memberships, art supplies, etc., etc.
Place locally that does take that is we rock the spectrum up in Kingston.
Oh yeah.
They are partnered with CMS at least.
Yes.
Where if you contact Kingston and they want an annual membership.
Yes.
So they
Yeah.
connected them and
Yeah.
for a year of unlimited
Oh yeah.
sensory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But people don't take advantage of the care grant, and that's free money. I mean, they send you a check, so it's out there to get stuff done with it. You can have it one time per calendar year, so take advantage of it. I've had families use them for school uniforms. What time is it? Okay. Transition assistance, it applies more to foster families for kids that are aging or moving through 18 to 21. Transportation is a big one. If something happens and you need transportation assistance to a medical appointment, you can get that through Sunshine Health. That will cover the child and one caregiver to go with them. They also will give you 3 times a month a non-medical ride, like to the grocery store or something like that. So that has to be, a lot of people don't know about that. They don't know to take advantage of that. But especially in those times of emergency or in times of like, the car broke down or whatever, and we still got to get to this therapy appointment or whatever, there's transportation available for that. It does come up a lot. I will say they should know about it. I don't know that they do. Yeah. This is going to be an exhaustive list, but this stuff is available. Biometric equipment, care grant. A lot of people don't realize that they can do this, even with kids. You get a digital scale, free. You get a blood pressure cuff. And you can replace that every 3 years. The care grant is out there, durable medical equipment. If you have a child, by the way, who is post-adoptive or a foster child who is asthma diagnosed, you need to apply for this because you can get hypoallergenic bedding for free. You can get a HEPA filter vacuum cleaner for free. They have to have that diagnosis, so there has to be a claim on file with Sunshine for something with an asthma diagnosis, right? An inhaler or albuterol or something like that. There's other stuff around here as well. Flu pandemic prevention kit. There's an emergency meal kit you can get. That emergency meal kit is very nice to have, by the way, around hurricane time. But you can order one. You can order one per year, and it's like a meals ready to eat kind of a kit, but it's non-perishable. You can get meals delivered to your home after an inpatient experience. I don't remember how long they do it. I want to say it's 3 or 4 days, but hey, 3 or 4 days of getting meals delivered that you don't have to make after your child's been in the hospital is a welcome relief. There's legal guardianship assistance. We can keep going, Ray. There's life skills development help. There's meal stipends. If you have a, let's say you have to take your child up to Shands in Gainesville for some reason, to see a specialist or something, you can get $25 a day for the distance you have to go. You can also get, There's also assistance for lodging and food reimbursement in a situation like that. It has to be more than 100 miles from your home. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you're going to like the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, you're going to, in Gainesville or something like that. All Children's is not more than 100 miles. So it's unfortunately, and unless you're in Port Charlotte, then it probably would qualify. So. Oh. Oh. To Nemours and go down to Fort Myers to Galisar, yeah. Wow. Wow. There's going to be a lot of these on here. Circumcision, non-emergency transportation, over-the-counter benefits. Like I said, that is now $50 per household. I know CMS is working on that, and they should have done that first, but I would think you would go to them first and then go to the general population, but as I've been told many times in my 11-year-old career, I am not in charge. So it's, there's swimming lessons that are available. That is per year. You can get a voucher. That is for a child up until the age of 21. So it's even better, like if you have, let's say you did swimming lessons with your 4 or 5, 6, 7-year-old. They're now a teenager. Maybe they need a refresher. Who knows? Give them a lesson at the Y or wherever they might be able to use the voucher. The transitioning out of care is for obviously kids who are transitioning out of care. They can get a one-time $500 payment to help with that assistance. Children's medical services, that, again, for kids under the age of 21 who have multiple diagnoses, multiple needs that qualify for CMS. It is all run by Sunshine now, but it still has its own, as we now know with the over-the-counter benefit, it still has its own little kind of lane, if you will. This tells you how you can use your over-the-counter benefit. Most of you probably already do that. There's a lot of different things. Again, by the way, the asthma thing, this one floored me when I had a family that had a child that was diagnosed with asthma. They will provide free carpet cleaning twice a year from Sunshine for children that have an asthma diagnosis. And I think you get at least 2 rooms done. I know a lot of people don't have full carpet anymore, but anything helps. There is, you qualify for the government-based cell phone program. You can get a cell phone with 300 minutes on it every month because Sunshine Health is a Medicaid provider. Those kinds of things have to be thought about. Again, there's so much stuff. You can just kind of go through this, Ray, a little bit. And at sunshinehealth.com, yeah. Or call me, and I'll email you. I can email this to you. These are all still benefits. We talked a little bit about the Prime benefit. By the way, I forgot to tell you that also applies to Walmart Plus. So there is a discounted Walmart Plus membership as well under government assistance recipient is the term you want to use through the Sunshine Health, through the Medicaid. We can keep going, Ray. By the way, CMS, people can get pest control covered. So that's something to contact your care manager about accessing that benefit. I think they give you up to, yeah. I mean, you need more Tylenol that you're not getting the money for, but at least you're bug free at this point. So you take advantage of what you can get at this point. That's right. That's right. But make sure you take advantage of that. I think you get up to $500 worth of services covered. Yeah. The Center for Adoption Support and Education, and a lot of places that will talk about like adoption support, post-adoption support, don't let the name scare you because they also will usually serve foster families, non-relative caregivers, relative caregivers, and so on. We're all in this village together, regardless of what your title is. So the help is out there for everybody. Anyway, they do have a lot of stuff with Case does a lot of stuff trainings wise. Again, much like Jockey Being Family, and then resources. Where they have links on their site to different places that you can use. We can keep going, Ray. This is my information. I know I'm going to end a little bit early, but my information is here. If you want to get a hold of me, my card is at the table. Also, there's information about FAPA. If you want to join, please join us. We would love to have you. Two of the big things that we also do is we do give welcome bags for new placements. We also do adoptions congratulations bags for finalized adoptions for our members. So if you want to come join us, come join us. Our next big event is going to be the Halloween costume closet, which is going to take place, I believe it's the second week of October at the Bradenton Women's Club. Come get free costumes for your kids, have some snacks, have some fun, and come out and join us. So if you need anything from me, let me know. Again, here's my number. It's on my card in there too. And does anybody have any other questions or anything before we wrap up? Mm-hmm. Foster is going to get a monthly stipend, of course. Foster is going to get the Medicaid, the benefits there. The rest of the stuff is going to come specific to adoption. Yeah.
So with the stipend for the foster, that doesn't include the
That's okay.
the cost of living.
They do get it. Foster parents get a cost of living increase, and it's automatic. Yeah, it's an automatic cost of living. They don't have to ask for it. It's just something, and theirs happens like clockwork. When the memo comes out. So, any other questions? Thank you guys for having me. It was wonderful to get to talk to you. And like I said, if there's obviously anything I can do for you, please feel free to let me know. Of course.
I'm going to have my friend Madeline come up here. To totally put her on the spot because the last time, I know, she's like, Danny.
No warning or
You can have a seat. No, because listen, because the other time you got put on the spot, you did really well.
Okay.
So after I have Madeline introduce herself, I'm going to ask you guys to open up your email and go ahead and do the survey that was sent to you. It's in like the top line. It's hyperlinked. You'll notice some additional questions in the survey this time because we're trying to figure out what to do about South County, and so we want your feedback. And so we're wondering, does this kind of an event happening monthly fit your family's needs the best? Every other month, quarterly, something else? And then we're kind of just trying to figure out, like, is Venice best? Is Northport better? And we're doing some zip code type studies with the SCC as well, just to really maximize our time down here. So we want to make it so that South County families don't have to drive to Sarasota or Bradenton. But we also just want to make sure we're moving forward in the way that meets your family's needs the best and is sustainable as an organization in regards to identifying some church partners and other people who can help us volunteer and that kind of stuff. So if you get a chance before you leave, we really appreciate you taking that quick survey. Okay, Madeline, it's just whatever you want to tell us. Like, my favorite pizza, it's so low pressure, just anything. Okay.
Do I need to do anything with this or just hold it? Okay, well, as Jody said, I am Madeline, and I am going to be transitioning into Casey's role so that she can focus more on the relationships with all of you people. I am very excited to be taking over some of her responsibilities and hopefully lightening her load a little bit in the process. So I'll just give you guys a little bit of background about myself and why I fell in love with Bridge of Life. So I actually was adopted when I was 15. I had left my mother's home around the age of 10 and was kind of back and forth between homes. You know, I didn't really see a lot of potential for myself, especially being an older kid. Oftentimes, there's that challenge of being labeled kind of a bad kid once you get to those older ages. I had met a friend in high school. Her adoptive mother, her stepmother, had reached out to me after the second time meeting me and let me know that God kind of came to her and told her that she should basically become a part of my life and that I was going to be special and all of this stuff. So she asked to adopt me the second time after meeting me. And from then on, she helped me to not only, get my grades up, get to a point where I graduated high school, but helped me to go off to college. I actually just received my master's degree from the University of Florida. Thank you. But so I just love what Bridge of Life does, because my biggest passion in life has always been to provide the same support that was given to me, because I have firsthand experience of how impactful just a simple connection from somebody can be in your life, and someone essentially telling you that you don't have to be a stereotype or part of a statistic, but that there are people who believe in you and you have so much potential, and your past doesn't necessarily have to define you. So I'm very excited to hopefully be a part of that and continue doing that for other people. And I am looking forward to getting to know all of you as time goes on, and I get to become more involved in the gathering and all of our amazing community partners. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully I did good the second time.
You did great the second time. So good. Right? Yeah.
I panic.
Yeah, so we're excited to have you on board, and we just really feel strongly that that's an encouraging message, especially for those of us that are in the struggle bus of parenting. And so we're really thankful for your transparency to share that, because that's a really hope-filled message. And I know you're going to do a lot of good things. So, and we also, I think, just really value the lived experience piece whenever possible, when someone understands our world and can bring a perspective in addition to, your education and your experience and stuff. So Madeline didn't share, she's worked with children who are neurodivergent in a court setting, helping to do individualized parenting plans. And so she's got some really impressive work history already, and was doing all of that while she was getting her graduate degree. So welcome. We're glad to have you. So yeah, you've got 10 minutes to kind of hang out and spend a few more minutes just kind of decompressing. Breathe. Please do the survey. That really does help us. And then, we like to send you home with all of the food that's left over. So, be sure to grab that, plus boxes of Girl Scout cookies and all the fun things. So, yeah, thanks for being here tonight. I'll close this in prayer, and then you can hang out for a few more minutes or go grab your kiddos and get home a little bit earlier. God, thanks for a chance to get together, and we're just thankful for this group tonight and for the conversation, and just for an understanding of resources that are had. We pray that you would multiply our time. I know when I'm sitting there looking at that and going, those are amazing resources, and sometimes it's just finding the time to track them down. And so we pray that you would somehow orchestrate that so that you give us the time that we need to maximize on some of those resources that would help us in the long run. And above everything, God, we pray for the kids that we're parenting, and for the calling that you've placed on our lives, that you would just continually renew our mind and just remind us that you have us on this path for a purpose. And we just pray for protection over them and wisdom for us, and above all, just a really deep connection to you, but also just to them that can sustain us. Thankful